Sword of Coming Episode 3. In the previous episode, Chen Ping'an returned to Clay Vase Alley with a quiet sense of comfort, only to find Lu Shenyang waiting with his usual mix of chaos and enthusiasm. As memories of their past unfolded, from childhood fights to life-saving moments and Old Man Yao's teachings, their bond became clearer than ever. Lu Shenyang brought unexpected news, a rare job offer from Master Ruan. A chance that could change Chen Ping'an's daily, unchanging life. Meanwhile, whispers around town deepened. Song Jixin and Zhi Gui appeared with their innocent yet complicated dynamic. And the young Taoist priest struggled to earn a living, only to witness a mysterious Oriole interact with a single copper coin, a moment hinting at secrets hidden beneath the town's ordinary surface. At the end of the previous episode, the priest gazed at the ancient archway and murmured about its extraordinary worth, unaware that fate was quietly shifting around Chen Ping'an's small world. What will happen next? Stay tuned. And the story continues. After arriving at the locust tree with Zhi Gui, Song Jixin discovered that it was extremely packed, with close to 100 people gathered under the tree's shade. The air was thick with chatter and curiosity, as children tugged at their parents' hands, eager to join the crowd. Song Jixin, carrying a small wooden stool from home, carefully placed it on the soft earth and settled himself down, scanning the gathering with mild amusement. Standing at the edge of the tree's shadow, Song Jixin noticed an old man at the base of the tree. He held a large white bowl in one hand, while the other was clasped firmly behind his back. His face was set with a vehement expression, and his voice rang out over the crowd as he began to speak. Just now, I spoke about the general direction of the dragon vein. Now, let me tell you about the true dragon. This is a truly amazing story. The old man's voice carried as he recounted a tale from 3,000 years ago, about a deity of unparalleled skill and strength. According to him, this deity had first cultivated patiently in a blessed paradise, mastering the great Tao. Then, with his sword at his side, he traveled the world, driven by a personal vendetta against dragons. For 3 centuries, he hunted them tirelessly, until no true dragon remained. Afterward, he vanished without a trace. Speculation about his disappearance filled the old man's narrative. Some said he had ascended to a high plane to converse with the patriarch of Taoism. Others suggested he journeyed to the far western Pure Land of Sukhavati to study scriptures with the Buddha. A few even whispered that he now stood at the gates of the underworld, preventing malicious spirits from intruding upon the human plane. As he spoke with vigor, spittle occasionally flew from the corners of his mouth. Yet, most townspeople seemed perplexed, staring at him blankly, as if trying to decipher the purpose behind his words. Zhi Gui, standing beside Song Jixin, tilted her head and asked softly, "What is a 3-foot metal?" "It is a sword," Song Jixin replied with a small smile, feeling slightly amused by the question. Zhi Gui frowned. This old man is way too pretentious and full of himself. He cannot even speak properly, she muttered. Song Jixin chuckled quietly, observing the old man with a hint of schadenfreude. "Barely anyone here even knows how to read," he remarked. "His efforts are completely wasted on this crowd." Curious, Zhi Gui asked more questions, her brow furrowing. "What is a blessed paradise? Could someone really live for 300 years? And is the underworld not a place for the dead?" Song Jixin hesitated, caught off guard, but quickly covered his uncertainty with a dismissive wave of his hand. "It is all nonsense. He probably read some obscure unofficial historical texts and is just regurgitating them to impress the uneducated." Just then, Song Jixin noticed the old man glance in his direction. The gaze was fleeting, almost imperceptible, but it lingered just long enough to be unsettling. Song Jixin shrugged it off, attributing it to coincidence, and turned his attention back to Zhi Gui. Looking up at the old locust tree, Zhi Gui narrowed her eyes against the scattered beams of sunlight filtering through the leaves. Song Jixin found himself suddenly captivated by her profile, noting how she had begun to shed her childhood features. No longer the frail little maidservant he remembered, she was transforming into a young woman with a quiet strength in her demeanor. Song Jixin's mind wandered to the traditions of their town. He recalled how, during a wedding, A person blessed with family longevity would perform the ritual of face opening, shaving the fine hairs and trimming the temples of the bride. Inspired by these customs, he had once buried a precious porcelain vase filled with newly brewed wine when Zhi Gui was 12. Sealing it carefully underground, it was a small act of affection and care, a secret memory of their shared history. He then spoke aloud, almost to himself, reflecting on Chen Ping'an. According to my scholar ancestors, he is a piece of rotten wood that cannot be carved, or a pile of manure that cannot be built into a wall. Yet, he has done one meaningful thing in his life. Zhi Gui remained silent, lowering her head. Song Jixin continued, commenting on Chen Ping'an's rigid and dogmatic nature. He has no flexibility, which is why his pottery lacks the spark necessary to create something remarkable. Even Old Man Yao could see this clearly. Chen Ping'an is not a bad person, he simply is not meant for greatness. A faint self-deprecating smile crossed Song Jixin's face. In many ways, I am even more pitiful than him. Their past and familial connections weighed heavily in his thoughts. Song Jixin and Zhi Gui had long been subjects of gossip among the affluent clans of Fortune Deer Street and Peach Leaf Alley. Largely because of Master Song Jixin's illegitimate father, unlike previous officials sent to oversee the town's kilns, Master Song did not hide away or isolate himself. He attended personally to the creation of imperial ware. Living among the townsfolk, his scholarly appearance replaced by a sun-tanned visage, dressed no differently from field workers. Despite his efforts, the imperial ware produced under his supervision never quite met the court's standards. Yet the Ministry of Personnel acknowledged his dedication, praising his commitment even if the results fell short. Before departing for the capital, Master Song used his resources to fund the construction of a covered bridge, leaving Song Jixin under the care of his successor, ensuring a life free from want. Zhi Gui's origins were less clear. Some claimed she was a little beggar rescued in winter. Others said she was an orphan purchased by Master Song to serve as Song Jixin's companion. Regardless, the engraving of her name, Zhi Gui, on Master Song's favorite inkstone cemented her place in their shared history. The conversation shifted to lighter memories. Song Jixin laughed, recalling a tenacious little snake that had ended up in Chen Ping'an's yard despite his attempts to remove it. Zhi Gui considered the question thoughtfully, suggesting that some things are governed by fate. Song Jixin agreed with enthusiasm, concluding that Chen Ping'an simply lacked fortune and should be satisfied with survival. Their discussion lingered on Chen Ping'an's reliability, and Zhi Gui reassured him that he would not betray what was entrusted to him. Song Jixin smiled, teasing her lightly, before expressing a longing for the vast collection of books in the capital, more numerous than the plants in their town. Meanwhile, the old storyteller continued, speaking of dragons that, while no true dragons remained, might still exist among mortals. Dragonkin such as flood dragons, drakes, and hornless dragons still roam this world, he declared, pausing for dramatic effect as he tried to build suspense. Perhaps they are hidden right among us. What Taoists call dragons lurking in plain sight. Song Jixin yawned, unimpressed, as a single green locust leaf drifted from above, landing gently on his forehead. He plucked it, twirling its stem between his fingers, momentarily distracted by its simplicity. At the same time, Chen Ping'an was contemplating whether to visit the eastern town gate to collect 5 copper coins owed to him. A locust leaf floated down near him as he approached the old tree. Eager to catch it, he reached out, but the leaf danced past his fingers, carried away by the breeze. Chen Ping'an stepped aside quickly, agile and persistent, attempting several times to intercept the leaf. Yet it eluded him each time. Nearby, a young boy in azure robes, struggling at the private school, passed by unaware that a leaf had landed softly on his shoulder. Undeterred, Chen Ping'an continued toward the town gate, determined to press the matter, even if the coins were unlikely to be collected without effort. Over at the fortune-telling stall in the distance, the young Taoist priest murmured to himself, "Who says there is a disparity in the cycle of fortune?" Upon arriving at the eastern gate, Chen Ping'an spotted the gatekeeper sitting on the tree stump at the gate with his legs crossed. lazily basking under the early spring sun. His eyes were closed, and he hummed a tune softly while patting his knees with his hands. Enjoying the warmth of the sun on his face, Chen Ping'an squatted down beside him, feeling the familiar unease of having to ask for the money that he was owed. It was always difficult for him to demand what was rightfully his. His gaze drifted along the long, winding path to the east, a road that curled like a thick yellow snake through the countryside. As he observed it, he habitually scooped up a handful of dirt, rubbing it slowly between his fingers, letting the earthy texture calm his nerves. Over the years, he had honed a peculiar skill from the harsh training of Old Man Yao. On their travels across town, carrying heavy bags filled with machetes, hoes, and other tools, Chen Ping'an had often been forced to eat dirt, literally placing handfuls of soil into his mouth and savoring it, learning to discern its qualities. This practice had developed into a remarkable talent. With a mere touch, he could assess the properties of any soil, or even identify the origins of broken porcelain fragments in the market, discerning not only which kiln had produced them but also the master who had fired them. It was a skill born from patience, endurance, and a life hardened by adversity. Chen Ping'an remembered the cruelest lesson of all, the time Old Man Yao, frustrated with his apparent lack of talent, abandoned him in the wilderness, leaving him to navigate 60 kilometers of mountain terrain back to the dragon kiln. It had been a day of heavy rain, the mud sucking at his worn shoes and soaking his clothes. For hours, he had trudged through the dark, exhausted, and near despair, only finally seeing a flicker of light in the distance late at night. That was the first time he had felt the urge to cry. Yet, he never hated Old Man Yao. He understood that aside from one's parents, the world owed him nothing, and his parents had long since passed away. Sensing Chen Ping'an's patient silence, the gatekeeper finally opened his eyes, grinning at him with crooked yellow teeth. "Get over it," he said. "It is just 5 copper coins. A young man should not be so petty. Otherwise, you will never make anything of yourself." Chen Ping'an raised an exasperated brow. "Aren't you being petty here?" he countered calmly. "Exactly. If you do not want to end up like me, then forget about the 5 copper coins." The gatekeeper chuckled, leaning back on the tree stump. Chen Ping'an sighed faintly, holding his gaze steadily. "If you are short on money, I can let the 5 copper coins go. But we agreed upon 1 copper coin per letter. You cannot keep refusing to pay me like this." The gatekeeper's body exuded a sour, unpleasant odor as he leaned closer slightly. "If you maintain that stinky attitude, there is a very good chance you will get into big trouble. Have you not heard that suffering a loss is a blessing? If you are unwilling to endure even small losses." He paused, noticing the dirt still in Chen Ping'an's hand, then added in a menacing tone, "Then you will soon be buried in the dirt." "Did I not just say I could do without the 5 copper coins?" Chen Ping'an retorted firmly. "Is that not accepting a minor loss?" Frustrated and unable to argue, the gatekeeper waved him away with a dismissive hand. "Piss off. Talking to you is like talking to a damn wall." Chen Ping'an released the dirt, stood up, and commented with mild concern, "Tree stumps are damp. You are going to get rheumatism sitting on that thing." "I do not need you to teach me where to sit," the gatekeeper scoffed, laughing loudly. "I am a healthy, hot-blooded young man. You could even cook a pancake on my ass." He glanced at Chen Ping'an as he departed, pursed his lips, and muttered a curse to the heavens. Meanwhile, at the private school, Mr. Qi concluded the lessons unusually early that day, surprising all the students. Behind the school was a yard, and to its north, a small door led to the bamboo forest outside. Song Jixin, still listening to the storyteller under the old locust tree with Zhi Gui, was summoned to play Go on Mr. Qi's behalf. Though reluctant, he could not refuse, knowing that Mr. Qi valued rules, discipline, and punctuality above all. Song Jixin delayed only long enough to hear the end of the tale before heading to the private school. The azure-robed young boy, acting as Mr. Qi's messenger, returned first, reminding Song Jixin not to be late, repeating the same admonition about Mr. Qi's insistence on propriety. Song Jixin merely picked at his ear, trying to placate him and ensure he would leave. Upon reaching the yard, Song Jixin felt a cool breeze. The young boy was already seated on the southern stool, posture straight, his expression serious. Song Jixin sat opposite him, facing south, while Mr. Qi observed silently from the west. As usual, Zhi Gui had gone for a walk in the bamboo forest to avoid disturbing the game. According to Mr. Qi's rules, the players began with a minigame to guess the stones, determining who would receive black stones and thus take the first move. Song Jixin, despite beginning Go at the same time as the boy, had advanced far faster due to his intelligence and aptitude. Over the years, the young boy had improved mainly by observing Mr. Qi's recorded games, while Song Jixin's interest in Go had waned, often prioritizing fun over careful play. Mr. Qi directed, "Play an even game today. White goes first." Both boys were confused by this new rule. Mr. Qi patiently explained that it entailed placing 2 black and 2 white stones each on the 4-star points before beginning, effectively shrinking the board. Song Jixin's eyes lit up. "Isn't that right, Mr. Qi?" he asked. "That is indeed the case," Mr. Qi confirmed. Song Jixin chuckled, glancing at his opponent. "Perhaps I should give him a handicap, or he will lose this game for sure." The young boy's face flushed with embarrassment, realizing his slight improvement had been aided by Song Jixin's diminishing enthusiasm rather than his own skill alone. As the game began, the boy played cautiously, valuing foundation and defense, while Song Jixin moved rapidly, seeking expansive positions. Within fewer than 90 turns, the boy suffered a crushing loss. Following Mr. Qi's rules, he silently resigned by tossing his stones onto the board, lips tightly pursed, unwilling to speak his defeat. "Go and practice your calligraphy," Mr. Qi instructed. "Write the yang character 300 times." The boy bowed respectfully and departed. Song Jixin then quietly asked, "Are you about to leave this place as well, sir?" The scholar nodded. "I will be leaving within 10 days. "That is good. I will see you off," Song Jixin replied. The scholar hesitated. "No need. After leaving town, keep a low profile. I have nothing more than 3 elementary books for you. Principles of Life for Children, Rites and Music, and an anthology of literary essays. Read them regularly. Only through repeated reading can one understand the true meaning. Additionally, I suggest 3 light readings: Profound and Subtle, Dao Li Anthology, and Tales of Mountains and Seas, for self-cultivation." Song Jixin, surprised and slightly awkward, said, "It feels strange, as if this is the last time we will meet." Mr. Qi smiled warmly. "Do not make it so serious. Perhaps we shall meet again one day." He then instructed Song Jixin to pay an early farewell visit to Zhao Yao. Song Jixin left cheerfully while Mr. Qi methodically cleared the board in reverse move order with unerring precision. Zhi Gui had returned from the bamboo forest but remained outside the wooden door. Mr. Qi, in solemn authority, said, "You are on your own now." His stern tone was met by Zhi Gui's timid, dazed expression. A hint of anger flickered in Mr. Qi's eyes. "What a disgusting creature you are," he sneered. Slowly, Zhi Gui's innocence gave way to a mocking sneer, as if challenging him silently. Song Jixin's call brought her back to obedience. "Time to go home, Zhi Gui." "Yes, young master," she said, stepping lightly past Mr. Qi, curtsying as she departed. The scholar sighed faintly, the spring breeze rustling bamboo leaves like the turning of pages. The young Taoist priest in the lotus hat was packing up his stall. Sighing in dismay, townsfolk, curious about his melancholy, asked why he seemed troubled. But he shook his head, remaining silent. A newlywed woman, passing by, noticed the change in his demeanor and shyly inquired, her eyes wandering over him intently. The Taoist priest glanced at her, then, shifting his gaze slightly downward, noticed a voluptuous bulge. He swallowed and murmured in a mysterious voice, "I picked out a stick for myself earlier today, and it was a bad stick that entails great peril." In this episode, we saw Chen Ping'an navigate the small but vivid challenges of his daily life. From confronting the stubborn gatekeeper over a mere handful of copper coins to reflecting on the lessons and hardships of his past under Old Man Yao's strict guidance. At the same time, Song Jixin's story unfolded as he listened to fantastical tales under the old locust tree. Played Go with the azure-robed young boy under the watchful eyes of Mr. Qi, and shared quiet, meaningful moments with Zhi Gui, revealing the bonds and subtle tensions between them. Through these intertwined experiences, we gained a deeper understanding of their personalities, their resilience, and the small yet significant ways they navigate the world around them. What happens next? Stay tuned for the next episode of Sword of Coming. If you enjoyed this episode or found it intriguing, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive updates on the upcoming episodes of Chen Ping'an's journey. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.